Crazy thumbnail, I know, but believe me, the credit card setup that I am going to show you today is going to give you the most amount of value with the least effective annual fee. This setup is going to include 5 different cards, but you don't need to get all 5 cards to make it work. You can stop whenever you're comfortable. Or just like the Infinity Stones, you can collect every single one of these, and then when you snap, instead of eliminating half the population, you can get some free travel instead. So the first card that you're going to want to get is the Chase Sapphire Preferred. This is the heart and soul of this credit card setup. It's what makes all the little gears turn. And the main reason that we're getting this card is because when we have this card, you can take the cards that I'm going to show you later down in this video, take the cash back from those cards, and then redeem it for travel. And the reason that I'm using the Chase Sapphire Preferred and a couple other cards from Chase to build the core of our setup in this video is because it's one of the few cards that earn points that can be used for both domestic and international travel. If you look at cards from either Capital One or American Express, it's going to be hard to find good redemptions for domestic flights. But as long as you have the Chase Sapphire Preferred, you can use the points at one of my favorite places, Hyatt, for almost 2 cents per point or over each time. You can also transfer it to domestic airlines like Southwest and get around 1.3 to 1.5 cents per point. Or if you don't want to go through the hassle of transferring your points out, you can also just redeem them through Chase's travel portal at an automatic 1.25 cents per point. Now the Chase Sapphire Preferred does have a $95 annual fee, but it has a $50 statement credit for hotels booked through the Chase travel portal. So as long as you can use that, that brings the effective annual fee down to $45. And this is the only credit card that actually has an annual fee on this list. The rest of the credit cards are all no annual fee. And another thing that the Sapphire Preferred gives you to offset that annual fee is 60,000 points as a sign-up bonus after you spend $4,000 within 3 months, as well as no foreign transaction fee and a lot of good travel protections. As far as the earning categories on this card, you're going to earn 2 points back on travel book outside of Chase's travel portal, 3 points on dining, streaming services, and then online groceries. So we actually don't really care about any of those earning categories. If you can use the 3 points back on online groceries and then streaming services, that's good. But the main reason we're getting this card is to unlock the Chase travel portal. Now, a card that we will be getting for its earning categories is the Chase Freedom Unlimited. This is going to be the workhorse in our setup. It earns 3 points back on dining, drugstores, and then 1.5 points on everything else. Now, the reason we're getting this card is that 1.5 on everything else. And that doesn't sound like a crazy amount, but because these points can be used in the travel portal and Chase points are so valuable, if you transfer them out to someone like Hyatt and you're getting 2 cents per point, it's almost like you're getting 3% back on everything. It also gives you a $200 sign-up bonus after you spend $500 within 3 months. But again, that $200 sign-up bonus is actually 20,000 Chase Ultimate Rewards points, so that can also be used for travel. We can now move on to the third card in the setup, and if you watch football, this is going to be like the Taysom Hill, like the Joker in our setup. It's not going to be useful on every single play, but when we can use it, it's going to earn us a lot of points. That is the Chase Freedom Flex. The Freedom Flex is almost identical to the Freedom Unlimited that we just talked about. It earns that 3 points back on dining and then drugstores, but instead of earning 1.5 points back on everything, you're earning 5 points back on rotating categories. So if you don't know what this means, every 3 months, you're going to get a new category that you're earning 3% back in. So 1 month, that might be something like gas. The next, it might be groceries, and then Amazon, and maybe PayPal and gym memberships after that. But generally, you get some pretty useful categories that aren't usually covered by other cards. And you're going to earn that in up to $1,500 each quarter. This card isn't necessary for the setup, but it's definitely going to help you earn a lot of extra points. And because, again, it is a Chase card, you can use all the points for this card in the Chase travel portal because you have the Sapphire Preferred and redeem it for higher value. So at this point, we have what's commonly referred to as the Chase Trifecta. We have the Sapphire Preferred, which is going to be used for our travel redemptions and protections, as well as online groceries and streaming services if you guys can get any use from that. And then, of course, opening up the Chase travel portal so that we can take the cash back from these other 2 Freedom cards and use them for travel. Now, one of the biggest problems with this setup is, one, the overlap in earning categories. All 3 cards are giving you 3 points back in dining, which is obviously not necessary. All 3 cards also give you 5 points back when you book travel through the Chase travel portal. And then both the Freedom cards have 3 points back on drugstores, which really isn't even that important of a category anyways. This card is also severely lacking in earning categories. For example, it doesn't give you anything more than 1.5% back on groceries or gas, which is a lot of people's biggest spend category. The only time that you would get that if it's a rotating 5% category on the Flex, but a lot of the year you're still left with a card that doesn't earn high rewards in those. There is also no TSA pre-check or lounge access. But that's why I'm making this video, because I came up with a solution to all those problems. So one no annual fee card that I found that patches a lot of those problems is the US Bank Altitude Connect. Now, a lot of people aren't familiar with this card's game. It gives you a lot of cool perks, but the ones that we're worried about today is number one, 4 points back on gas and EV charging, up to $1,000 each quarter, and then 2 major benefits that come with it. The first is airport lounge access. You get free 4 visits to over 1,600 VIP lounges. If you're unfamiliar with what an airport lounge is, it's pretty much VIP access at the airport. Instead of waiting in the overcrowded airport, you can go into one of these lounges and they have comfortable seats, free food, free drinks. Some of them even have places where you can shower and take a nap. And 4 free visits is perfect for the casual traveler because you're not actually going into an airport lounge every single time you travel. Usually it's, when you're having a layover or a delay. So 4 free visits a year is going to be perfect for a lot of people, especially at 0 annual fee. And then the other thing that this card gives you is statement credits for TSA PreCheck or Global Entry. TSA PreCheck is pretty much fast track for airport security. You don't have to take off your shoes, belt, glasses, any of the things like that. It just makes getting through security a lot easier. And then Global Entry is like fast pass for getting back into the US when you're doing international travel. Instead of waiting through customs, all you have to do is scan your passport and take a picture, answer a few questions, and then you're on your way back to the US. And then to top it all off, the US Bank Altitude Connect also gives you a 20,000 point sign-up bonus. So all that value for no annual fee is pretty insane, and it patches a lot of the holes of the Chase Trifecta. Now, you could just stop here, but this next card I'm going to show you, I think should be in pretty much everyone's wallet, and it's really going to bring this setup to the next level. So like I said, one of the biggest weaknesses of the Chase Trifecta is that it doesn't have an elevated earning category for groceries. And that's when we enter in the PayPal debit card. Now, before you go in the comments and call me a fraud and close off the video because I'm promoting a debit card, just hear me out. You get to choose somewhere where you earn 5% cash back. You can choose restaurants, gas stations, health and beauty, grocery, or clothing. And obviously for the strategy we're using today, we would pick grocery. Now, what's so special about this card is it actually gives you 5% back at Target, Walmart, and Costco. If you don't believe me, you can go watch the video where I literally tested for myself. But why that's special is because no other credit card can do that for you. Pretty much every single credit card excludes Target, Costco, and Walmart from their earning categories. So to be able to get that on a debit card is pretty insane. And you're going to get that up to $1,000 of spend each month. Now, there are some disadvantages to using this. Number one is that it's a debit card, so you have to set up a spend account, and then also you're missing out on some of the protections that come with purchasing things with a credit card, but there also are some advantages to using a debit card. Number one is it doesn't have anything to do with your credit, so no hard pull, no decreasing your credit score, no new recent accounts, and having to wait longer to apply for your next credit card, which is good because there's quite a few credit cards in the setup, and it's also not going to affect your 524 status with Chase. For those who aren't familiar with 524, that's a rule where Chase isn't going to approve you for any of their cards if you've opened up more than 5 credit cards within the last 24 months, and that's another reason why I recommend the PayPal debit card over another card like the Citi Custom Cash, is because it's not going to report keeping another 524 slot open. And then the last card I want to talk today is really a no-brainer for the right person, and it's really just going to supplement this setup perfectly. It's kind of like if you're already working out and then taking creatine on top of it. It's not absolutely necessary, but it's definitely going to help you get those gains. And that is the Built Mastercard. So if you're unfamiliar with this card, it gives you 1 point back on rent, but it has no transaction fee when you pay rent, which every single other card does. And it is 0 annual fee, so you're pretty much getting a bunch of points for just putting your rent on it and paying it off that you normally wouldn't get from just paying with a bank account. And a reason why I'm including it on this list is because it has Hyatt as a transfer partner. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, Hyatt is one of the best transfer partners for all those Chase cards we talked about. So you can combine the Built Mastercard points with the Chase points to make it easier to book a lot of cool hotels. It also gives you 2 points back on travel, 3 points back on dining, and then 4 points back on Lyft rides, but we don't really care about most of that stuff. You do have to use this card 5 times a month to earn all those points from rent. So if you want, you can use this card as a dining card a couple of times a month to meet that minimum 5 transactions, or just buy small stuff with it, like coffee or whatever. So just to recap the setup, you can first get the PayPal debit card because it's not going to affect any of your credit card status and start earning that 5% back. You would then build the Chase Trifecta. You would use the Altitude Connect to fill the gaps in Airport Lounge and then TSA PreCheck, and then the Built Mastercard to earn points on rent. And you're getting all that with only paying an effective $45 annual fee. You can also eliminate the need for getting the Altitude Connect by getting the Chase Sapphire Reserve instead of the Preferred, but that comes with a higher annual fee. If you want to find out if that's worth it for you or not, you can click this video